Some breaking news now for you. There are reports from the US celebrity website TMZ that the pop star and musician Prince has died at the age of 57. So that is the American celebrity website TMZ. It's previously broken the news of the death of Michael Jackson, and that website is now saying that the singer Prince has passed away. I'm joined now by Ian Woods. Ian, what more can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that American news agencies following up the TMZ report say that the authorities in the state of Minnesota are investigating a death at Paisley Park, where Prince had his recording studios. And it quotes Jason Cameron of the Carver County Sheriff's Department telling the Minneapolis Star-Tribune that the investigation began on Thursday morning. He said officials are withholding information about the identity of the deceased person until next of kin has been notified. As you referred to there, TMZ has got a pretty good track record of having its finger on the pulse of issues such as this, and was very early on in reporting Michael Jackson's illness and then subsequent death. They were the first to do that. So TMZ is a gossip website, but it has got very, very good connections. Prince was 57 years old, and has been touring certainly up until last year. And there was also talk recently about him writing his life story. I think he'd signed with a publisher to do that. So awaiting confirmation of this news, but it does appear credible that the reports of Prince dying may well be true.
And was there any suggestion that Prince was in ill health at all? Has this come as a surprise if these reports are accurate?
Certainly, I'm not aware of any evidence of ill health, but that's not to say that that's not true. But certainly, the 57-year-old told an audience in New York last month that he was intending to start writing his memoirs very shortly. And therefore he still had plans coming up. The publishing house, which is part of Random House, said the memoir would include stories about Prince's music and his background. Of course, he's been a fixture on the music scene since the late 1970s, very influential in a lot of different spheres, and someone who has had hits, has written hits for other people as well as his own massive hits, and of course a film star as well. You know, really making an impact with Purple Rain when that was released. Yeah,
he's certainly somebody who's transformed the music industry really, and actually packing out gigs even recently as well. Somebody who really spoke to different generations.
Yeah, I mean, he's had fans not, of course, just all over the world, but fans across different generations as well. In terms of the influence that he's had on other artists as well, many people will say they'll have been influenced by his sound, and he is someone who has been, you know, one of the biggest pop stars of our time. And it's been a terrible year for the entertainment industry, hasn't it? In 2016, not only did we lose our own David Bowie earlier this year, and yesterday, of course, is the death of Victoria Wood, but there does seem to have been an extraordinary number of celebrity deaths over the last few months. And if this is confirmed, it'll be a death which is mourned all over the world.
Thank you, Ian. I think we can go to Cordelia Lynch now, live in Washington. Hello, Cordelia. How reliable as a source is this TMZ website?
Well, look, TMZ, as it's known here, is very popular indeed. They have, as Ian was saying there, a pretty good track record when it comes to this. They were, in fact, the first to break the news on the death of Michael Jackson. And today they are quoting multiple sources close to the singer confirming this death. We have, of course, had the Carver County Sheriff confirming a fatality, but not identifying Prince as that dead individual. Now, TMZ is a big outfit. It constantly has a churn of celebrity, a pretty salacious gossip stories, but nevertheless, they have a number of celebrity contacts across the spheres in the music and entertainment world. And as you heard Ian saying there, if this is proved to be correct, it will have a huge impact across the world. This is a multi-million dollar selling artist who up until very recently had been giving concerts. There has been a lot of speculation though, Sophie, about his health. There was a medical emergency on April the 15th that forced the singer off his private jet. They had to make an emergency landing in Illinois. He appeared actually at the concert the next day to assure his fans that he was okay, Sophie, but There has been in the past few days a lot of talk about the fact that he'd been battling the flu for 3 weeks. He's been working on his memoirs, looking to release a book, publishing new material. It's very rare, of course, that you actually see Prince out and about. He's very guarded with his private life, very rarely seen on camera, but in the past week we've seen a few images of him getting into a car. I think it was in New York, which courted a lot of attention. The idea that he may have passed away at such a young age, just 57 of course, will be mourned by people across the world. But as we say, we only have TMZ reporting this at the moment, but they are claiming they've spoken to a number of sources.
And Prince, of course, is somebody who's had an enormous influence over the music industry. What kind of impact could his death have in the US if it is confirmed?
Well, he has indeed, and really impossible to quantify. You know, lots of us will have remembered his hits, and it's a career that spanned 3 decades. He's a platinum-selling artist who rose to fame with such tracks as Purple Rain, of course. So he had a lot of friends within the industry. A lot of people, like Michael Jackson, nod to his influence, say that he really was a pioneering artist who created a sound, an ethos, a culture within the music industry that's really unrivaled, unparalleled, you could say. And he was known for his antics on stage. He was very private. He'd been married twice before, but there was this great enigmatic quality about Prince, and the fact that he'd, you know, been pushing out new material recently excited fans greatly. Sophie.
Thank you, Cordelia, there in Washington. More